Good morning, students. Welcome back to history class. Today's topic is the Civil Rights Movement. Does anyone have any idea of what I'm talking about? Yes.
Yes, Miss H. The Civil Rights Movement was initiated with the goal of allowing everyone to have the same rights and be treated the same because during the 1960s, African Americans lived in the United States didn't have the same rights as white people.
Yes, in fact, that's very good, Luis. Now, does anyone have any idea of what this movement consists of? Yes, Javier.
The civil rights movement's goal was to end racial segregation and discrimination of races and secure legal protection of citizenship rights mentioned in the Constitution and Federal Law of African Americans.
Very good, kids. You're all very much correct. Now, let's take a minute to watch a documentary which will give us background information on the slavery and civil rights movement during that time.
African Americans were hardly ever recognized as independents who deserved the same rights as white people. Whites had an unemployment rate of only 30%, while that blacks faced more than 50% unemployment. During these dark periods of time, there were many protests and acts of violence against blacks. For example, in 1865, the Ku Klux Klan was formed. This terrorist group consisted of white people who resisted the social changes, favoring the blacks. Their goal was to frighten and beat up black people. Between 1876 and 1965, the Jim Crow laws were enforced to support racial segregation. African Americans couldn't build the same public spaces as white people, such as transportation, school, restaurants, and restrooms. After the Civil War ended, they created 3 constitutional amendments. The 13th Amendment in 1865 ended slavery. The 14th Amendment in 1868 gave black people the right to become U.S. citizens, and the 15th Amendment in 1870 gave the Americans the option to vote.
Miss H, one question.
Yes, please.
Miss, what were the different perspectives in the matter? How could some people believe segregation was wrongful and while others believed it was the right thing to do?
That is actually an excellent question. Let's go back in time and see this for ourselves. Here we are, America during the 60s. Specifically in 1963, there were 3 very important speeches delivered. First, let's watch an extract from the speech of someone who was against the civil rights movement, George Wallace.
Let us send this message back to Washington by our representatives who are with us today. From this day, we are standing up, and the heel of tyranny does not fit the neck of an upright man, that we intend to take the offensive and carry our fight for freedom across the nation. Wielding the balance of power, we know we possess this outland. In the name of the greatest people that have ever trod this earth, I draw the line to dust and into the gauntlet before the people feet of tyranny. And I say, segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever.
Mr. Wallace, please sir, where is your stand on the topic of segregation? Why do you believe that?
I believe that it is in the best interest of African Americans and whites to have separate education and social order. Our forefathers established the states to divide power and rights amongst each state, and the same thing applies for our racial life. We're not meant to be a unit of one, but a united of many. Each race within its own framework has the freedom to do what she pleases. But if we unite into one unit, then the freedom of our development and the enrichment of your lives will be gone forever. We have believed the idea that if the government has the power enough to outnumber its people, then it will provide a utopian life. The government has the temptation to play God without having wisdom nor faith of God. As Thomas Jefferson said, that God who gave us life gave us liberty at the same time. No kings hold the right of liberty in his hands, and I say, nor does any ruler in the American government.
He definitely had his opinions firmly established. I think we can understand where his motivation and reasons come from.
Now can we please move on to the speeches that were against non-lynching? That's the thing that really interests me.
Very well. Here we have an extract of Martin Luther King's speech, I Have a Dream, presented on August 28, 1963.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream too.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes, please go ahead.
Where do you stand with the topic of segregation? What are your reasons for believing this so firmly?
Most of my theories behind my activism came from my religious beliefs. I believe we are all equal and deserve equal. We should be judged by the content of our character rather than the color of our skin. I want to live in a country where we are all equal, where we all love each other. Unconditional, unselfish, and absolute love is the key by which we will overcome racial conflict. I plan to achieve this social change non-violently, like the philosophy of Gandhi. Racism stands not only as a barrier between people, but as an offense between us and God. People have often told me that my life and work symbolize a quest for equality and non-discrimination. Now I ask you a question. Who is to say what is right and what is wrong?
That was a very powerful answer. Oh my god! Look at the time! Kids, we need to head back to class. Wow! That was such a rough landing. Okay guys, we have a few minutes left in class. Would someone like to comment on today's events?
Yes,
Yes,
I noticed
please.
that Dr. King and Mr. Wallace were driven by different motivations. And on the one hand, Dr. King was based on religion and the right to do before the eyes of God. On the other hand, Mr. Wallace was driven by the power and of equality, and he was looking.
Great answer, Luis. I hope you have learned a lot today, guys. Now, I want you to go home and reflect upon the various events we have witnessed today. Please remember that those who forget their own history are condemned to repeat it. Class dismissed.